We're 2 for 2 now. 2 fucking beast-ass chapters. Let's go. So for starters, correct me if I'm wrong, but is Madara fighting this war right now blind? I think he might have one eye because I remember in the flashback when he was old Madara, he still had one eye left, and that was that he stole it. But I guess since he was reincarnated, that one eye that he stole wasn't reincarnated into his body, or he was reborn, shall I say. You know, he was revived via Rinne Tensei. The one eye that he stole or whatever he managed to get isn't there anymore. So he is completely blind fighting a war. Give this motherfucker an Oscar or a Grammy or an Emmy or some shit. Give him an award for most badass motherfucker to fight a war by himself blind. Like in this chapter we had a couple of badasses. We got Madara fighting a war blind, but then you got Sasuke that is relentlessly going in on Madara as well. And I was just like, past couple chapters, Sasuke has been really impressive. He's been showing that he has his resolve. He don't give a fuck. Like, you know, in the past chapter or so when he was gonna go kill Obito, I was like, alright. And then in this chapter, he's like, I don't give a fuck. In the middle of the transformation, doing what most people say, wouldn't the smart thing to do would be to do something to them while they're in the middle of their state so that way you could catch them off guard? That was like, I remember when Frieza was transforming and I think it was either Piccolo or Vegeta or something that tried to attack him so he wouldn't make it. That was what I felt like what Sasuke was doing. Madara was in the middle of being revived. He's like, oh, and he just throws freaking Amaterasu all over him. And I was just like, yeah. Sasuke is badass as well. I don't give a fuck. In the past few chapters, he's been doing some badass things, and he's just going in. And I like how he pretty much has his own, at this point, goal. And he's not going to, at this point, be swayed by anyone. I noticed that this chapter, if you really look closely at it, Sasuke showed he's no longer going to be swayed by anybody. They're not going to be able to pull him this way or that way. I think he's dead set on what he wants to do now, because when Madara was like, yo, we're the last of the Uchiha, join up with me. He's like, I want your head. That was epic, and at the same time also shows development in the sense that he's not going to be swayed anymore. It's not going to be that you can easily die him any which way. He knows what he wants, and that's good character development right there with a touch of badassness. The whole thing with how Black Zetsu got away, it makes sense how he kind of just like morphed himself off of the white Zetsu body and just kind of like went down and then was waiting for instructions. A little bit on the, because I remember when Obito was on the ground, he turned like into Black Zetsu looking as well. So I was kind of like, was that just Madara conquering with his will on top of Obito's Zetsu side or what? So a little bit confusing there, but as far as the whole thing with Black Zetsu, I guess he's just been in wait, waiting for his next move. And it seems as though he's going to try to get the Rinnegan off of Obito or take Obito's body or something. Maybe he's going to like rip the Rinnegan out and give it to Madara and then just control the body until Obito passes out. Because right now, since they're morphed, Obito can still live because those cells are helping him to stay, you know, stick around or whatever. But once, if like Black Zetsu leaves, I believe he's gonna finally die. Because, I mean, come on, fucking die already, motherfucker, just die. Why is he still alive? It's like the avalanche could fall on him, break his neck, and he's still, I'm hanging in there, Kakashi, Minato, oh. I'm really curious as to who it was that taught Madara, because it was an acquaintance of an underling of his that taught him how to basically absorb ninjutsu. And the reason why he hasn't done it yet, because I know people are going to probably call bullshit. Why hasn't he done it till now? He hasn't had a flesh and blood body up until now. So now that he has flesh and blood body, he can absorb ninjutsu. That's what happened to the Amaterasu, and that's what happened when he absorbed the Sage ninjutsu. Pretty much it seems as though he has to have some sort of cut in order to do it. And then once he has, like, damage on his body, it'll pretty much, like, absorb the ninjutsu, which makes me wonder, how did he do the Amaterasu? Because prior to we seen him, like, slit his wrist, we didn't see any damage. I guess maybe it was just, like, a cut around on his body or something, or the Amaterasu just, like, started maybe on his skin, and then it was just enough to make the cut, you know, go through or something like that. It seems as though he needs to have some sort of cut, and then he can absorb whatever ninjutsu he wants. And now that he also has Hashirama's Sage Jutsu, if you look closely in the final panel, you see that his body is healing himself. So now he even has the ability to heal himself without having to do any sort of sign. He just immediately starts healing. So he's even more powered up. The bad thing is, yeah, he's blind right now. He needs to get those eyes. I doubt he's going to get his hands on Sasuke's eyes. Let's keep it real. Plot protection. But Obito's eye is up for grabs. Probably just take both of that motherfucker's eyes and smash him in half. Like, get him the fuck out of here already. Like, it almost feels as though Kishimoto right now is just making sure to shit on him. Like, Black Zetsu is shitting all over him, basically saying, like, yo, you've been useless to us the entire time, being a little bitch sneaking behind Madara's back. So it's like, yeah, your time is done, bro. I think Kishimoto's going back into that, yeah, my pen game is sick, and I'm going to show you guys why. last chapter and this chapter, yeah, we're going in. And like I said, he wants to hunt down the tail beast, because why else would he want to be mortal? Well, there also in this chapter proves that there was a few more reasons why he would want to be mortal, because he has techniques that he couldn't use prior to getting this body. Like, for example, again, the ability to absorb ninjutsu, however he learned it. I'm curious who the hell was that acquaintance, but he also needed to be mortal to do that. So that's one of the things. I guess it did add to his power to be mortal, but at the same time, it's like, you lost a Rinnegan, so it's kind of like an iffy situation. I know you want to be mortal so that you could get it. I guess he had to, one way or another, lose his Rinnegan and all that good stuff that he was granted with his Edo Tensei body in order to go, full throttle. But it's kind of like, you're blind now, bro. You need them eyes. But he's going to try to hunt them down, so how is he going to be able to do that with everyone on his ass? It was badass, I ain't gonna lie. That last panel was fucking incredible. You see Madara with his one foot on top of a dead Shinobi's body, and it's just like, ugh, but how is he gonna do it? Like, what, is he gonna, like, just slay them and then drag them away while Naruto and everybody's on his ass? Something's gotta give, and just right now, shit is getting intense. Like, very good setup, development on Sasuke's part, learning more about Madara and his new abilities, Black Zetsu's backstory. This was some very good shit. I'm gonna give this one 8.5 out of 10. It was a lot of very good setup. Didn't have too much progression, because in a sense, we still just, like, moving along with Madara, kind of like focusing now on what he wants to do and how he's gonna do it at this point. But nonetheless, a lot of good stuff within it, like I just, explained earlier. So, very good stuff. 8.5 out of 10. First of all, who do you think, if it is going to even be mentioned, was the acquaintance of an underling of Madara that taught him how to absorb jutsu? I'll probably make a full video on this at some given point, but I always go back to when Madara and Hashirama had their fight. And there was like a sound or something. Something was going on a cliff, and it looks up to the cliff, and there's no one there. And they look up. And I always think, there was probably somebody around there, and maybe that person, if there was a person there, is the acquaintance or the underling that Madara was speaking of that taught him how to do the absorbing of the jutsu. What if one of the sage's kids is still around at this point? Yeah, food for thought, people. Also, at this point, what do you think is Madara's game plan in capturing the Bijuu and pretty much kind of trying to absorb them? What is he going to do at this point with everyone on his ass? You think he's going to try to, like, nab all of them and just, like, disappear, like, use some sort of jutsu to get out of there and leave with them for a time being until he could do what he needs to do? Or he knows, like, some sort of jutsu to do it quickly? What do you think is his game plan at this point with everyone on his ass to absorb the Bijuu? And who was the bigger badass in this chapter? Sasuke or Madara, because both of them were doing fucking epic things. Sasuke wasn't letting go, and Madara was fighting a war blind. I'm just saying. But that's all I have for this review of this fucking beast chapter of Naruto. Thumbs up for Madara and Sasuke, both of them putting in work in this chapter. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.